Hi guys, welcome back. It's Tommy with another retro Starcraft 2 replay cast, as we have a very interesting international engagement here in between the two pro players. We have spawning here in the upper right in the red, it is SERRAL from Finland, and his opponent who is spawning here in the lower left in the blue. It is TAEJA, a known player from South Korea, but yeah, it's a very old replay which I'm casting here. I believe it was casted, it was played around the year 2017, 2018, so we're traveling back in time to see quite an interesting series here in between the two pro players. And you can even see that the skin of the SCVs look a little bit different here, if I'm not mistaken. So quite interesting stuff here indeed. So yeah, very soon we're going to be checking out the build orders from the players, just like we do in the previous replays here onto this channel. We see SERRAL go for a fast expansion build order, scouting the map of course, just in case for some proxy barracks here from his opponent, but yeah, no such thing from TAEJA. Opening up here pretty standardly with his barracks, with his supply depot next to his ramp, and we also have gas very soon for him. So yeah, the ramp is pretty much secured. I believe he's also going to go for a fast expansion and send out his SCV very soon. So the pretty standard stuff here from here, and it looks indeed like the skin from the SCV looks here a little bit different than from the newly patches here from Starcraft 2. In the meantime, SERRAL continues of course with his gas, with his spawning pool. So yeah, nothing out of the ordinary, and there is indeed the expansion from TAEJA, as he's of course sending out this important SCV to check out if SERRAL has expanded or not. So in case there wouldn't have been an expansion here, of course he would have cancelled his expansion and would have had to prepare for a rush by SERRAL, but yeah, no such thing. The SCVs of course even scouting the main now, checking all of the buildings here. Let's see what he's continuing with a factory. So it might be a 1-1-1 build order, barracks into factory, then starport, or he might transition into more barracks as the first marine is out. And it looks like the marine looking pretty normal here. Yeah, let's see what the next moves are going to be. So no Reaper here for TAEJA, straight into one marine. As actually no, sorry, there is a Reaper out. Of course, one Reaper to harass the expansion point a little bit. Let's see if he's going to be lucky to snap this one drone. No such thing for him, as the Queen will be ready to fend this off. However, TAEJA might try here to kill the herd drone. Let's see if he's going to be successful, as the Queen is spreading more and more of that creep. And of course the Reaper can heal himself up, but he might take some damage very soon out of the Queen. So yeah, pretty standard up here, open up here by SERRAL. There is his second expansion point. Some Zergs are out. The Reaper is going to try to be as annoying as possible, even throwing out some grenades. So pretty good stuff here by TAEJA. And his expansion is also finished here, as he's looking like he's going to try to finish off a wall off very soon, just in case there would be some banings and so on. And yes, indeed, you can see pretty much the different skin now of these units. I believe it was 2016, 2017, so the Hellions look really cool with the blue flame. Oh yeah, look at that, they pretty much look very nice here, moving out, and very soon they will try to of course deal damage towards the economy here from SERRAL. Let's see if it's going to be successful. This is moving here out with his units. There were some Queens on the ground, there were some Zerglings, and TAEJA, interestingly enough, going straight for the newly established base where there are no drones. So perhaps a little bit of a mistake by him. In the meantime, SERRAL tries of course to interconnect the creep in between the expansions here. But yeah, quite cool looking skin indeed here from the units. I don't know what I should click just to see the units. Perhaps enter, no. Yeah, I don't know what to click just to see how they move and where they move. So yeah, I have to click it myself. But in the meantime, he's lucky snapping an overload here. Let's check his main. There is indeed a 1-1 build order, and we see yet another expansion here for him, as SERRAL tries to push here into selling off with some Zerglings. But yeah, those Hellions will of course be the great counter towards all of those Zerglings on the ground. And SERRAL might just try to expand into this location very soon, as he's still on tier 1. He might go for a Baneling's Nest, he might go for some Roaches, Could be a timing push with some roaches in the mid. Oh, actually he does has a roach warren somewhere nicely hidden. There it is. So quite a surprise here by SERRAL actually moving out with his roaches. You can of course see the production tab in the upper left bar just in case I'm missing something. So yeah, roaches of course perfect versus all of those hellions on the ground. But we do have a Banshee in the air, so the Banshee will be able to fend this off. However, quite some damage could be taken here by TAEJA. It's actually 2 Banshees in the air. SCVs had to be pulled. I'm not sure why he did this. Perhaps a little bit cautious here, but yeah, the Banshees would of course be able to kill so many roaches. I believe sadly the SCV count kill is not getting shown here, so sadly I don't know how many SCVs have been killed. Quite some large number of SCVs indeed here, as more and more damage is being taken by TAEJA, and the roaches are still pretty much alive, as SERRAL pretty much with a great timing push tries of course to deal as much economic damage as possible, and he was indeed successful, even sniping more SCVs here. All of the SCV here into this expansion point have been killed. In the end this will be cleared, but the damage has already been done by SERRAL, and in the end lots and lots of SCVs have fallen. At the worker count it's 25 for TAEJA, 58 for SERRAL, but SERRAL has pretty much committed a large number of his army for this, and he has dropped now to 12 to 10 supply of an army. Let's see if TAEJA can punish this early out with his Banshees. Where exactly is he going to attack? Perhaps into this newly established base, but SERRAL of course anticipating this, immediately adding those spores, so not going into an army right now. He's expecting of course an attack with the Banshees, and the spore is very likely going to finish pretty soon on time, as 2 drones have been sniped here. We do have invisibility for the Banshees, and they can of course 2-shot a drone, actually 1-shot a drone, but if there's 2 Banshees of course they will shut that one down. So yeah, more Zerglings do fall here, some drones, but the real damage has been done early with SERRAL being able to snipe so many workers. The same can be said here over by TAEJA as he's moving forward with his Banshees. So we can see that 2 Banshees quite strong into the early game. We see a Baning's Nest, and yeah, they nicely kite back and forth, just keep on sniping worker after worker. Very nicely done here, but SERRAL still at 60 workers, 63 now actually. TAEJA still has the expansion here up. Went into some barracks, and let's see what's going to happen here. Queens are ready to defend this expansion point, and this will be held off in the end. The army count, however, if you look closely at SERRAL, he's just pretty much focusing now into droning more up. In the meantime, we do have a push out, and once again the skin looks really cool here from those medivacs, as he's going to clear some creep here, and SERRAL expecting the attack, so he's going to defend with some Zerglings. I believe some Bangs will be also added, and very soon he might get a great surround, but remember there are medivacs in the air, so this will be held off. At the same time, the expansion now pretty much ready here. One SCV doesn't really feel like working, so yeah, let's see what's going to happen here. The Banshees now do attack. One however has fallen, 70 kills onto this one, so really strong stuff by TAEJA, showing us how good Banshees can be. You can actually go into mass Banshees early on. We've seen Maru do this onto this channel, and it worked out really well for him, just pretty much killing everything onto the ground, as SERRAL tries to open up the floodgates here to add more and more of the units, and Banings are being added, and even Overseer, so we might see some Night Swarms getting added by him as well. In the meantime, he has to react onto this one, push Steam Marines forward, going straight for the Banings, but they will very likely be surrounded very soon. So yeah, still anyone's game of course. The worker count has pretty much now equalized, and even the army count is pretty much the same. TAEJA is going to very likely secure this expansion very soon. Let's have a look again at that tank. Tanks also looking very nice here into the old patch, being really retro, so nice skins there indeed, as the tanks will find a good position here to siege up, nicely guarded by the crystals here. And let's see, slowly but steadily the push is continuing here forward by TAEJA. He's moving forward with his Marines. The good position here for the tanks, more reinforcements are pouring forward, and actually the hatchery has been sniped here, so great stuff here by him, as SERRAL went into some Hydros. We might see some lurkers very soon by him. He's going to try to rebuild it, and SERRAL pretty much has to commit here forward. He's rolling forward with his Banings, with his Zerglings, and with his Hydros in the back. But the tanks in the back aren't really getting touched, and they get some great shots. In the end, the Banings do get so lots and lots of Marines out. SERRAL is losing some units, but at the same time, he's able to clear this and to secure his expansion right here. Army-wise, TAEJA dropping to 41, so a good defense here by SERRAL versus his opponent as we have passed the 10-minute mark. So yeah, nice stuff here by both players. As yeah, we are going to see a very interesting series indeed here. So yeah, let's see what SERRAL is going to be continuing here doing. He's moving out with his Zerglings. Perhaps he's going to commit into this location right here, as some tanks are still guarding here this location. So really nice stuff by both players actually, and a great defense here by SERRAL indeed. Yeah, let's see. SERRAL taking the 12 o'clock position, so pretty much expanding all over the map. And TAEJA also nicely building, creating a great sim city here, a great build order here for him in order to make it more difficult for SERRAL to move forward. He's created so many barracks here. And notice how this supply depots are also nicely spread out here, just to make it more hard for the Banings perhaps to roll forward, or for the Zerglings to get a good connection here forward. In the meantime, we do see some changelings here as things have settled down a little bit. Both players focusing onto their macro game, just creating more units, and they're just pretty much adding more workers. 76 already for SERRAL, as he's going to very likely try to secure his expansion right here. In the meantime, we do have some more orders moving here forward, so TAEJA not giving up into cancelling the expansion point here from SERRAL. I see siege tanks are nicely sieged up there, and SERRAL with quite a small army group perhaps is going to regroup all of his units, as the Banings will be sniped here by TAEJA. So TAEJA of course taking out the important units, the important AoE units. Yes, yeah, they're still now defending, but at the same time we do see reinforcements now moving forward here for TAEJA, and I believe he's going to pretty much commit here forward into attacking the expansion. He's indeed sieging up, and let's see if he's going to be successful with his attack versus SERRAL. SERRAL having so many Banings onto the ground, but the siege tanks are nicely added here, as some Zerglings are pretty much attacking the newly established base. But the real action is of course happening here. SERRAL with a great surround coming in from the back with the Zerglings. The Banings also get some pretty good connections. TAEJA tries of course to micro his units out of danger. In the end he will hold the position, and those tanks really helpful for TAEJA here. It's both players having 82 of a supply here, and let's see what's going to happen. SERRAL decides to retreat. All of his Banings have been killed, and his Zerglings as well. So he had a good position, he had a nice surround, but in the end TAEJA holding his ground, those tanks in the back with many kills. As once again in comes SERRAL, but yeah, the siege tanks guarding of course, giving cover towards the infantry in the front. SERRAL tries to find a better position with his Zerglings as he's moving forward into this location, trying of course to force TAEJA to come back. And yeah, he's going to be able to bring a small group of units back, but the real damage dealers are of course here in the front, as a Medivac is dropping some units here just to try to cancel the newly established points. We do have some transitioning to some Vipers of course, to abduct those tanks. And let's see if this is indeed going to be the decision here by SERRAL. Vipers of course a great counter, even with blinding clouds against the tanks on the ground. And in the meantime many more Banelings have been added with Zerglings. And let's see what SERRAL's decision is going to be. He has gathered a great force. I believe he's going to try to knock out those supply depots into this location, and he's going to try to move forward towards the first expansion here from TAEJA. Yeah, let's see. TAEJA also once again slowly but steadily pushing here forward with lots and lots of Marines. Shield has also been done for them. More orders are also out here, so let's see what's going to happen as he's moving forward towards the base from SERRAL, towards the expansion here from SERRAL. This might be a good point into attacking, as his choke point is actually working against SERRAL, so the siege tanks could deal massive amounts of splash damage. He's just sending out a small task force here. In the meantime SERRAL tries to counter here to attack into the front, and we do have the Vipers in the air, but the tanks are in the back, More and more infantry is getting nicely microed here by TAEJA, but his tanks are very far behind. Perhaps he needs to change that, as more and more banelings do get some pretty good connections. In the meantime, TAEJA of course busy microing his units here, as just a couple of Hydras are attacking forward. Let's see, is SERRAL going to pretty much commit here forward, as slowly but steadily he is pushing out, and SERRAL tries to come in from the back. A great decision here by him, as in come the Zerg from the back. Great blinding clouds against the tanks. Nice execution here by SERRAL, not deciding to go for abduct, but go straight for blinding clouds. However, important tanks have been taken out, but still a lot of that infantry is still being left alive for TAEJA, as once again this expansion is going to be taken out. And I believe TAEJA is not going to stop here, he's going to pretty much move forward. So a great victory here by him. He did take some damage from this counter attack by SERRAL, but in the end he knew of course he had the larger amount of units here, and he just will take out some cocoons as he's moving forward towards the outer expansion points. But in the meantime, SERRAL nicely ignoring that and just establishing a new base here. However, pretty much exposed base, as some medivacs will take some time to move forward. In the meantime, TAEJA once again moving here forward. He might snipe the hive if he's lucky, if SERRAL will allow this. Hive already at dropped to half of the HP, as in come the Zerglings with the Hydras here. And yeah, the tanks of course are in the back, but it's just two of them, so not that much being left alive for him. We might see some blinding clouds once again indeed. And yeah, SERRAL once again pretty much committing here forward. One tank has fallen, the second one also taking quite some damage. Baneling's getting some pretty good shots, and in the end TAEJA staying back into the cover of this, but at the same time his reinforcements once again are pulling forward. So let's see, SERRAL still into Link Bane Hydra with some Vipers. He might go for some Infestors, for some Fungals. Fungals really good versus the infantry. Now the Banelings will try to get some good connections onto Creep. They will take out a couple of the infantry. Nice spread here by TAEJA. So a great micro by him versus the world champion. And let's see, TAEJA also expanding into this location. Also having this location right here a little bit exposed, as we do see some Zerglings here. And yeah, it's still anyone's game of course. Let's see what is going to happen, how things will unfold. Quite an interesting series we have here indeed, as some units will be taken out here, but we do have medivacs very close to the newly established base, so the medivacs could just uplift those units and move forward, as we do have an Ultralisk here, and I believe he has a little bit of a speed. As you can see, he's very big, and if you look closely, he is like a jet, like an airplane jet, moving very fast. And yeah, let's see, TAEJA is moving forward with the infantry, nicely kiting. The tank is in the back. Abducts are happening now, and the Ultras will finally get some good connections. Moving here forward, very tanky unit. Lots and lots of HP, and of course splash damage. In the meantime, there's another engagement here, so SERRAL decides to go for some Ultras now to counter the infantry from his opponent, but the Ultras is not really getting any connections here. The Stimp Marines will of course outrun it, and in the end the Banelings will of course be the real damage dealers, as another Ultralisk has been added here, and the expansion has fallen here. So TAEJA with a nice victory. Notice that Ultralisk are of course bigger than in this patch, as this is of course a nice retro replay, and you can see some sort of a smoke like a jet from the plane coming out of them. So very cool looking skin indeed. They might move very fast through the wind, yeah, creating some gas. Really nice stuff by the Ultralisk. And yeah, the expansion is secure. This one has fallen already for SERRAL, so SERRAL taking quite some damage. And let's see, TAEJA with a quite large infantry force, Marines with Marauders and some tanks. Only 2 tanks sadly for him are moving once again forward into this location, but we do have Ultralisk, 5 Ultralisk. Queens might be needed here to heal those Ultralisk. It's actually just Viper, as in comes the attack with lots and lots of Banelings, getting a pretty good connections, but in the end I believe the Terran will once again micro his units out of danger, kiting them back and forward, leaving just a small group of Marauders. So this is his idea, he's just leaving the Marauders in the front, more tankier unit, snapping the expansion. SERRAL tries of course to come in from the back to get some great connections, but there are medivacs in the air. Blinding Clouds once again getting casted. Parasitic Bomb might be needed here against the medivacs in the air, as this will of course be cleared, and TAEJA has to retreat with his units, as a small counter is happening here for SERRAL. But hold on, the real action now happening even into this expansion right here, as it has been taken out. SERRAL tries of course to counter. He did snipe a couple of SCVs, so pretty good job by him. And we actually do have some Liberators now in the air with also pretty good looking skin. Let's see if TAEJA is going to commit once again into this location or into the newly established base here from SERRAL. Worker wise, SERRAL still with 20, almost 20 more workers versus his opponent. Still a very interesting game, still anyone's game of course. SERRAL taking over some damage out of TAEJA, and TAEJA doing a pretty good job into defending his expansion. Now he's just deciding to stay a little bit more back to counter the new units, as we do have the great fungal, and this will of course allow the Ultralisk to deal that much needed splash damage. And finally we do have parasitic bombs against those medivacs in order to not allow them to bring the units into security. And yeah, let's see, another attack here by TAEJA with a small group of Marines heading straight towards the hatchery. He's pretty much just going to snipe it and leave the location, as SERRAL is a little bit too late into defending it, as we have passed the 20-minute mark. So SERRAL taking more and more damage. A great game here by TAEJA, hurting the economy, hurting the hatcheries here from his opponent, pretty much leaving his expansions alive. So SERRAL might have to go into another unit. Perhaps some Broodwars would be a great idea for him. Ultralisk are strong, they're tanky, but they're not that fast. And yeah, it's really hard for them to attack those kiting Marines with Stim. The Marauders as well with concussive shells will slow them down. Yeah, let's see if once again a small group of Marauders will be able to take out actually many drones here. So SERRAL with a small mistake finally reacting as TAEJA is moving forward, greatly kiting those units back and forward, just snapping unit after unit. A very smart gameplay here by the Terran and those Marauders with the concussive shells. Great counter towards the fast moving Zerglings and even towards the Banelings, as there is some long distance mining now happening here for SERRAL into this location. So yeah, let's see what's going to happen. More Ultralisk, so more Vipers. Still no transition into those Broodwars. Perhaps Broodwars would have been the greatest counter against all of that bio on the ground, as once again this expansion might get punished, and he immediately cancels it after even 2 Banelings will be shut down. And yeah, the Marauders look like really strong, slowing everything down, taking kill after kill. So very good unit to have with concussive shells instead of mass Marines. Just add some Marauders here, and let's see if this is going to work out indeed for the Terran, as he has a nice choo-choo train here with SCVs. Yeah, the SCVs arrive here as, hold on, one Zerg is here to disrupt the party, and he might even take out one SCV. So yeah, let's see, have a look what the next steps are going to be, as SERRAL looks like he's going to regroup, but at the same time also having a task force into the upper ground, nicely spreading his units into 2 groups and actually having 5 Vipers here. So yes, a very strong unit with of course the parasitic bomb. Look like he's going to have to use massive amounts of parasitic bombs against those medivacs in order to not allow a retreat by the Terran. And let's have a look what's going to happen. Once again TAEJA decides to attack, deciding to go for his favorite expansion. I believe he might even try to snap it for a third time. SERRAL with a good position this time, long distance mining here and bringing his reinforcements into this location. Both players pretty much maxed out, and once again the Marauders looking like they're nicely going to cat back and forth, but the Zerglings are in the front now. The Ultras don't really get any connections. We do have blinding clouds once again on all of the Terran units. The Terran has to come back, but we do have some ghosts now on the ground as they keep on sniping Ultralisk after Ultralisk. But there's still so many Hydras being left alive here for SERRAL, and a great fungal being casted here against all of those ghosts on the ground. We might see yet another fungal as the Marauders will deal more and more damage. And yeah, let's have a look. More sniping going on against the infantry, sorry, against the Zerg units. And I believe even the ghosts look a little bit different here skin wise, as there they are. Yeah, they look pretty cool. Let's have a look if this is going to work out. Of course, Ghost, a much needed unit into the late game with a sniping ability versus the Zerg, versus the Ultralisk, and even against some Broodwars if there would be some Broodwars. And let's have a look what's going to happen here, as SERRAL pretty much on mass Hydras, not deciding to go for some Lurkers. Perhaps some Lurkers would have been also a great idea by him, just going into sheer mass. Still Link Bane Hydra with some Ultralisk, as his expansion is going to pretty much take so much damage here into this location. So bring some Zerglings, but I believe TAEJA is just pretty much going to commit here, just going to try to snipe the expansion. In the end he has to uplift, and SERRAL might have to heal this expansion right here. I don't see any queens. There were some queens, you know, it's just spores. So SERRAL's queen count looks like it's pretty low. So he's just going to try to inject more and more larvae. Actually, I don't see any queens here for him, which is quite interesting. Just a couple of spores with some Zerglings. And yeah, let's have a look. As another expansion is going out here for SERRAL. And yeah, TAEJA just pretty much also on standby, deciding to defend a little bit, as we have the Ghost Academy over here. And yeah, TAEJA decides to play more defensively. Those ghosts looking really cool here with the old skin. And SERRAL just pretty much patrolling here his expansion points, deciding to allow or to wait for an attack. Hold on, the hatchery might get snapped. So close, 56 HP, and right now a queen would have been great. SERRAL decides to react. He's going to abduct those liberties and even the tanks, so more and more damage is being taken here by TAEJA, and his economy is once again going to suffer. At the same time, TAEJA with a counter attack into the expansion point, killing this one for the third time. So both players pretty much killing their expansions there, and SERRAL once again having to regroup, having to move forward. TAEJA at the same time decides to retreat, but you see a move forward here by SERRAL. Perhaps with his infestor is going to get a nice flank towards the infantry here, and still this one expansion is not being killed. 70 HP. This could be really important, as this one is still pumping out more and more minerals, as we have this overload over here. And let's have a look. SERRAL just pretty much just patrolling the map. This expansion is very likely going to fall very soon if TAEJA is hurrying up with a medivac, as we see more and more baning. So Link, Bane, Hydra with Vipers, with some infestors. This is the strategy from SERRAL, as it's just bringing a couple of Zerglings forward. TAEJA having only 43 workers, but of course in the late game the army supply is much more important than the worker supply, so more army supply is of course needed, as the Zerglings will likely get killed here by TAEJA. In the meantime, a large force is happening here to attack. The Zerglings are in the front. Great fungus once again, and we might continue with parasitic bombs, as yes indeed, parasitic bombs against the medivacs in the air. Also much needed spell into the late game, and also lots and lots of splash damage with the infestors, with the fungus, and with the parasitic bombs here for SERRAL. He's looking like he's pretty much going to commit forward with his strategy, with his hydros, with his banings. Let's see, once again splitting his troops. Perhaps he's going to attack the newly established base. Of course this should be his target. Also base mining here, and this one here as well. So SERRAL looks like he's moving forward. He might catch some units here. TAEJA not paying attention, and yeah, great pickup here by SERRAL. In the meantime, TAEJA tries to move forward, sniffing here up, going for the newly established base. Just a couple of Zerglings, so SERRAL has to come back. He has to retreat in order to defend this expansion right here. And in comes the defense. Massive amounts of Hydrosk indeed is going to be here for SERRAL with the Vipers, very low on energy. Just one Viper. Don't think that TAEJA is going to commit here forward. His units are nicely spreaded. He's waiting of course for SERRAL to attack, but there's still those two tanks in the back. However, we have a nice infestors here in the back, so no scanners went out. SERRAL having great vision from his opponents. He's trying to split his troops, he's trying to surround his units. So in come the Banings, in come the Zerglings. Great stuff here. The Hydros also dealing massive amounts of damage. We do have some blinding clouds. We do have SERRAL all over the place. The Terran has to of course stand his ground, and this is going to be enough for him. No, actually he's staying here, and the Ghosts are nicely sniping those Hydras, so SERRAL has to retreat. He's taking more and more damage. A good position here for SERRAL. The surround was very good, but the Ghost now snapping more and more of those Hydras. Even the Banings are getting to a great connection. Great fungus against the Ghosts, but what exactly is being left here for SERRAL is only at 40 supply, and the Terran keeps on pushing forward. And in the end, yes indeed, Liquid TAEJA is going to take this game. So wow, what a great balanced, strong game here in between the two pro players. Very interesting indeed. Nice stuff here by both players. And in the end, those Ghosts, I believe, were the winning point for TAEJA, with the sniping going on into the late game. Nice stuff by SERRAL with the Vipers, with the Blinding Clouds, and with the Infestors. Perhaps more Infestors would have been needed with more Fungus. But yeah, TAEJA proving to be too strong into game number 1. Let's just jump straight into game number 2.